Ladies and gentlemen, last night Stranger Things Season 5 Volume 2 dropped. Now, as you can tell by the whole setup around me, I am not home. I am indeed in Costa Rica. I'm on vacation visiting family over here. So this isn't going to be my typical type of video where I can just sort of sit. I don't know how much time I'm going to have before people come back to the house. But we're going to be talking Stranger Things in this video. There are going to be spoilers ahead. So please make sure to, if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it. Then come back and watch this video. Give your thoughts down below in the comments. Leave a like on the video. Subscribe. Let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so Stranger Things Season 5 Volume 2, let's talk about it. So, the last 3 episodes were released last night, and my thoughts going into it were, please don't kill Steve. But, don't kill anyone. But, because it really did feel inevitable, because I felt as if the Duffers were sort of teasing it a little too much. And then you go into these 3 episodes, and everyone comes out safe. Now, there are certain points in this show where people are in certain situations where you do think that they are going to get killed off, but then they turn out to be fine in the end. And I think this whole teasing is sort of just the Duffer Brothers, just sort of trying to hype up the season as much as possible to make people go watch it. So I don't necessarily think if anyone's going to die. The only person that I can see dying as of right now in this moment is Eleven. And I'll get into that later because I do want to talk about her relationship with Kali because I do think there's something really weird happening there. But let's get into my positives. So the positives is the acting in these past 3 episodes were great, especially by Mr. Gaten Matarazzo. His acting in these 3 episodes was spectacular. He absolutely knocked it out of the park. He did it amazing, and especially with his scenes with Joe Keery, Steve. His scenes were so emotional, so impactful, especially when he's finally opening up about Eddie and all of this stuff and what happened in the past events of Season 4. I think the performances in this season were spectacular. Another great performance, once again, by Noah Schnapp, who I think is a fantastic, wonderful actor who continues to blow us out of the water with his performances. I mean, it's truly amazing, his acting range. And we'll talk about a particular scene that he does spectacular in later on in this video. But the acting performances, I think, really do make this show special. I think it is what makes the show special. I think a lot of what makes the show special as well is the personal relationships, right? I think this show, this cast over the years has become family to one another, and that really radiates off screen and on screen. Like, it really does show that a lot of these cast members do genuinely love each other and love to see the way that they play off each other. It's great. And in this particular 3 episodes, Steve Harrington is definitely giving off older brother vibes to Gaten, to Dustin, which is great. But, I was sort of starting to be like, all right, Dustin, can we please just open up? Can we please get this whole thing over with? Because it's like, oh my goodness, we've been doing this the entire season. Can we sort of straighten up and tighten up a little bit? But we finally sort of get that closure with him and Steve, which I think is amazing. What are what are some of my other positives? Oh, here's another positive. The cinematography, once again, is amazing. Shawn Levy, you absolute genius. So once again, in the episode Escape from Camazotz, we get another running up that hill moment. And again, truly spectacular. And what's funny is that Shawn Levy and the Duffers came out and said that they weren't going to try and recreate the running up that hill moment because it was so special from Season 4. they did it again, and who can blame them, because it worked so well last season, and it truly worked again in this episode. And this episode, Escape from Camazotz, was really, really fun and really, really interesting. Sadie Sink is an amazing, wonderful actor. Like, my goodness, actress. And I cannot wait to see what she does in Spider-Man Brand New Day. But, that episode was truly great, directed by Sean Levy. Again, my main thing with Sean Levy is, with Stranger Things, his episodes are so colorful. And I don't understand as to why we couldn't get that for Deadpool and Wolverine. I don't understand as to why that movie had to be so gray. But anyway, this isn't a Deadpool and Wolverine review. If you guys want to go watch that, you guys can scroll back and you guys can find out on my channel. But, Stranger Things Season 5, Volume 2, so far, the performances are great. The cinematography is great. The acting is phenomenal. So, what else can I talk about that aren't negatives, that are positives? As I said, the relationships are great. I really probably should have written down notes, but I didn't. My gosh, Mr. Clark finally becoming a part of the team has been my dream since I started the show, which wasn't too long ago, so I'm not going to come on here and act like I'm this big, avid fan of the show, which I am, but, I haven't been watching it over the past 10 years like most of you guys have. I love the fact that we are finally including Mr. Clark in this sort of fiasco that we have going on here in the Upside Down and everything with Vecna and Demogorgons and everything. It has quite literally been my dream since he was introduced, because I'm we're always coming to him about certain stuff, but we're never telling him. We can tell certain people, but we can't tell Mr. Clark. I don't know. To me, it just seemed very weird and, very out of place. I have no idea. And now we finally got it. And one of the main plot twists of the show is that he's hooking up with the librarian. Mr. Clark, I didn't know you had a game like that, brother. What are we doing? What? Why? Huh? Interesting. So that was really cool that we sort of got to see him be incorporated in the show in that way. And I can't wait to see him in the finale. I can't wait to see how they sort of all tie it together in the series finale. One of my main complaints of being on vacation here in Costa Rica is that I did indeed have tickets to go see the finale in theaters back home. But plans unfortunately change sometimes. But next year, trust me, we have a lot of content coming out next year. Rest assured, I'm going to be making it to the theaters on my own time, for sure. So I genuinely cannot wait for the series finale. I can't wait to see how they sort of wrap all of this up. But, including Mr. Clark was really, really fun. Who are from some of my favorite characters in the show, in these past 3 episodes? Honestly, dude, okay, so I've had a really, really big problem with Robin in Season 4 and Season 5, because I felt as if it was such a major shift from her character in Season 3. I felt as if she went from being this really cool, laid-back character, not really giving a shit, to this, very explosive outburst person. And to me, it seems very annoying at times. I will say, these last 3 episodes, Robin continued to make me laugh. I, couldn't stop laughing. There's one particular line in episode 7. I quite literally burst out laughing. I'm crying right now thinking about it because it is so funny, and I'm trying not to burst out laughing because that's how funny it is. But it is a remark to Steve, and Steve, Joe Keery, just responds with, "What the hell's wrong with you?" It's so unbelievably well executed and well done. I could not stop laughing. I choked on my drink that I was drinking. That's how much I, laughed, because it was so unbelievably well executed. So Maya Hawke is great in these 3 episodes. And obviously her relationship with Will, Noah Schnapp in the show, is spectacular, and it's something that they continue to sort of stretch out in this show. Because we're finally starting to acknowledge that Will is not the same as everyone else in terms of sexuality. And that's sort of something that they've been teasing throughout the show since Season 1. right? Hopper asked Joyce about it in season 1, and she sort of dodges the question a little bit. And then now we're finally setting it up in season 5, and it's something that was really, really touching. And Noah Schnapp does an amazing job in that show, in that episode, to be exact. He does amazing in the show, but in that particular episode, he really pulls a performance just out of the gate, and it's amazing. And he knocked it out of the park, and it was really emotional. There's a really particular reaction from Jonathan that made me that got to me, that hit me right here when he's giving that monologue. It was just so unbelievably touching and well done and well executed. Let's get into my negatives, because I have a few. I'm just going to start out the gate. The dialogue. Duffer Brothers, Sean Levy, can we tighten this up a little bit? Because it does genuinely sound childish at times. I don't know what we're trying to do in terms of comedy sometimes, because it's what demographic are we going for here? Because sometimes it's very adultish, it's very, there's quite literally a sex scene in season 1. And now, we're making dick jokes and we're doing all this sort of... it's very intertwined in a way that is very confusing to me. I don't really get it. Granted, the exposition and how we talk about the Upside Down, which is a thing that I forgot to talk about... the way that we finally get revealed that the Upside Down is a wormhole is very, very interesting to me. I sort of like how we're finally starting to figure out what the Upside Down is. We're finally starting to figure out Henry's backstory. I don't know how I forgot all of this in the first half of the video. I'm so sorry. Vecna, and we're sort of starting to get into that as well. And, and Jamie, who plays Vecna, Henry Creel, Mr. Whatsit, whatever you want to call it, does a spectacular job in this role. And, so we're finally starting to get answers about the Upside Down and Vecna and all of this and where we all sort of come from, and how this is sort of leading up to the series finale and how it'll all sort of tie together, which I think is very, very fun. But like I said, in terms of my negatives, the dialogue I felt could be a lot more neat and a lot more tight. And it needs to remain consistent, because I still don't understand really what we're trying to go for here sometimes. I do feel as if this season has been the cringiest season of Stranger Things. And don't get me wrong, there's been a lot of cringe in Stranger Things. It's sort of what the show's meant to be at times, right? But it's sort of really self-aware sometimes. But this is a little too self-aware. It's a little too... on the nose. It's what are we trying to do here exactly? But that's one of my negatives. Another one of my negatives is Nancy and Jonathan. What are we doing? So I cried, tears streaming down my face in that scene. And this is another one of my positives, is that this show is so amazingly emotional, and it really does tug on your heartstrings, and the music, oh my god, the score is fantastic. But in that scene where where Nancy and Jonathan is sort of, they're sort of confessing things to one another, and they're sort of saying their final goodbye, it almost seems like, because they think they're about to die. And then obviously, once again, it's another fake out from the Duffer Brothers. Why? Why do you keep doing this to us? You did it with Hopper in Volume 1, and now you're doing it with with Jonathan and Nancy in Volume 2, and we keep on faking out these characters, and it's pissing me off, because why am I crying for no reason? But anyway, enough of my rant. It has just been revealed that Jonathan and Nancy are broken up. They quite literally say "I love you" to each other in that scene, and Jonathan quite literally proposes. So what are we doing there? This is another one of my negatives, is that the show is also very confusing at times, and it seems as if the Duffer Brothers just sort of pull things out of their ass sometimes. Because it's like, okay, that scene would have been great, would have been amazing, had they actually figured things out and had they actually gotten back together and we had actually sort of figured ourselves out through that scene. But we didn't. And we're back to square one and them being sort of not a thing. We're broken up. So what was the point of that entire scene then? What was the point? In them saying that they love each other? And by the way, there's a scene in this volume 2 where Nancy comes up to Steve because he's trying to load up his artillery. He's sort of getting things ready. And Nancy sort of comes up to him and is like, have you ever played around with that before? And Steve is kind of like, I've played around with BB guns, whatever. And Nancy gives him a look. Like, I want to be with you kind of look. You know what I'm saying? Like, that smile sort of hints that they're going to be a thing. But I don't understand as to why we're doing that and playing off of that if we had just gotten this emotional scene with Nancy and Jonathan. I don't get it. Like, what are we trying to do in terms of payoff and emotion? Like, I don't really understand as to where we're coming from in terms of that sort of dynamic with those characters. Because it's like, are we going to end up with Steve? Are we going to end up with Jonathan? Are we not going to end up with neither? It just is really confusing. And the fact that the Duffers have to come out and re-clarify that Jonathan and Nancy are broken up. What was the whole point? You know what? What was the whole point of their relationship? Because in season 3, right, season 2, they're great, but also at the same time, they weren't a fantastic couple. Like, Jonathan wasn't really a fantastic boyfriend. Especially in season 4, where the Duffers kind of wrote him off as a character. I don't know why. We just sort of had him high most of that season. But, I really would have loved to see Argyle in this season, by the way. I think it would have been really funny. He is funny at times in season 4. Sometimes I find him annoying, but most of the times I would be laughing. And it kind of sucks that the actor couldn't return. But, basically, Steve... I always say Steve. Jonathan and Nancy. I don't know what we're doing. So I guess they're broken up. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's not a thing that is computing with my brain. All the neurons are firing in my brain. They're going back and forth trying to figure out what the hell is happening. But it cannot, I can't put my finger on it. Because it's like, well, that was kind of just for nothing. I cried my eyes out for nothing. What was that for? That's one of my main negatives with the show is that it's very confusing at times, and we have these big character moments that seem really, really big and really impactful, and then we don't pay it off. We come out in an interview a day after the show releases, and it's like, they're broken up, by the way. Yeah, that's not really good writing, Duffer Brothers. Let's not do that again. Maybe in your project after, we really make sure that we're not confusing the audience as much as we are with this season, because at the end of the day, this show is a teen drama, right? It's drama. It's what the show is centered around. It's what sort of draws audiences in, is the sort of teen drama aspect of it, and obviously the family aspect and everything, but... if you're going to do drama, let's make sure that the drama is at least somewhat understandable. It was not understandable in that scene now, because now that scene quite literally means nothing. It means nothing to the audience now. Audiences can't cry to it. It's a very emotional scene, and, Charlie and Natalia do a great job in that scene, and it's amazing. But I just don't get as to why we had that scene and then didn't pay it off. But okay, that's enough of my rant about that scene. Very, very confusing at times. Another one of my negatives, let's see. I feel as if the pacing could be a lot better. I feel like the pacing has been better in previous seasons. I feel as if sometimes we're going a little too fast, sometimes we're going a little too slow. I feel as if the pacing they could have gotten it just right, but we didn't, unfortunately. I feel as if they really could have. I feel like they really could have handled that better in this season. I really feel as if the pacing could have been better in these last few episodes. So yeah. But anyway, I'm going to get into major spoiler territory now. So I've been pretty vague in these last few minutes. So if you don't want to, know what happens in this season, you should probably click away now. Even though we are 20 minutes into this review. I just looked at my clock, and the oh shit is kind of going in my brain because I'm going to be having to edit this video for a long time. Anyway, so... spoiler alert for Stranger Things Season 5. Will quite literally takes a hold of Vecna and talks through him. This is like one of the most amazing points in the show. It's one of the most hype that I've ever been for a show. The fact that he's able to actually take control of him is insane. And, I can't say too much because I don't know how many family members are watching. And most of them have never really used this type of language before. Because they still all view me as like a little teeny weeny baby. But I'll put it in vague terms. Will kind of turn Vecna into his B word. Not gonna lie. I cannot believe that he's gotten this powerful. And there are scenes with Will and Vecna in this volume that we sort of get revealed as to what Vecna's plan is, and we're sort of using these kids as vessels to sort of collide these two worlds together, the Abyss and, the Upside Down and Earth, and we're sort of bringing it to Hawkins. In that particular scene where he's taking control of Vecna, it is very evident that he is indeed siphoning these powers from Vecna. And that's why I sort of like in the show, like in episode 4, normally 11 has this, right? She's using her powers. With this sort of hand motion, we're sort of siphoning it, right? And I feel as if that's sort of what the Duffers was trying to do, and what Noah was sort of trying to communicate to the audience was like, this, I'm siphoning my powers, right? I'm not 11 where I'm like using my powers. I'm siphoning it. And he makes it very clear in the opening of episode 5 to the rest of the gang where he's like, I'm not 11. Like, I'm not L. I don't really have powers. I'm siphoning these powers. They're not mine. They're Vecna's. I'm just sort of using them, because I have that sort of special connection with Vecna. And I think, the way he takes control of him, the way he speaks through him to Max and Holly is very, very cool. It's very, very fun. And I was definitely on the edge of my seat, just being like, oh my god, what's going to happen next? Because I thought Max was done for in that scene. And then we get another cutaway to Will, and he's standing up, and he is having his hands like this, and he's taking control of Vecna. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we're doing it again. This man has so much aura, it's not even funny. And so yeah, that was like a really, really cool moment in the show, and a really great and a really, really great payoff. I don't know what that was. I don't... I'm gonna have to cut a lot of this out. This is amazing. Great. Well, are you done? Huh? I'm in the middle of trying to record something. Where was I? Shit. Oh, and I'm sorry if that was a little bit of an awkward cut. I had to deal with something. I can't wait to see what the series finale holds. I really, really wish that I had written down notes so I could have made this shorter. This review probably isn't going to get too many views because of how long it is. But we'll see. Hopefully it'll gain a lot more traction once I post clips on TikTok. But yeah, the thing is, right, with the Duffers, it's very two-sided. Because we have this, right, where we have these sort of emotional moments, and then we're not really paying them off, like the Jonathan and Nancy thing. And then we also have Will, where they're taking really, really good care of him and making sure that we're sort of paying all of this stuff off that has happened to him over the past 10 years. And we're sort of bringing that all together. And I really hope that the Duffers and Sean Levy and everyone are like able to really pull together the season finale. Because not even season. I can't even say that anymore. It's the series finale. Like, this is it. It's all done after this, which is so incredibly sad. But, I hope that everyone has a great time with the show, with the series finale on New Year's. I really, really wish that I could be there with a lot of the rest of you who are going to watch the series finale in theaters. It was my dream to watch it in theaters with Stranger Things fans. So I hope that everyone isn't going to be taking it for granted. I hope that everyone goes and has a great time with friends and family, and we're sort of able to go just have fun, and then, go into the new year with this sort of profound sort of energy, being like, okay, we're ending off the year on a high. Let's go into it with a high, and we're going to really make sure that next year is great, because we have a lot of content coming out next year in terms of Marvel, DC, etc. I cannot wait. But I've been Joshua RCA, Joshua Reviews, Movies, and More. That's been my review for Stranger Things. I'm going to give it like an 8 out of 10 as of right now. We'll see how the series finale holds. It's like a 8. You could probably even convince me of a 7. 8 out of 10 as of right now. So we're going to see if this all sort of comes together in the finale. But I've been Joshua RCA, Joshua Reviews, Movies, and More. Take care and peace.